Every March, same thing. Customers coming in to start fresh, $50, $70 on bacteria starter bottles, maybe a spring cleaning kit. 6 weeks later, back through the door with a jar of green water. Another $30, $40 on algicide. I watched that cycle run for 36 years. Most of my regulars were spending $150, $200 a season on a problem that kept coming back, because the advice they were following was creating it. The thing that keeps a pond clear is alive. It's free. It's already growing on the inside of your filter right now. And every time you follow the standard spring startup advice, drain it down, scrub everything, fresh start, you kill it. Then you spend the rest of the summer buying treatments. I put forbidden in the title with the quotes on purpose. It's a little dramatic. But this information cost my store money every single time a customer walked in knowing it. That's about as forbidden as things get in the pond trade. I know what you might be thinking. Another big promise, bag of barley straw at the end. I get it. But I'm not selling you the alternative here. There isn't one to sell. It's too cheap for anyone to put a label on it. By the end of this, you'll know exactly what's keeping your pond clear, or what's stopping it, and why most of what's on the pond store shelf only exists because that thing keeps getting destroyed. And near the end, I'll name the fix spreading around online right now that I would never let near a koi pond. People are hurting their fish with it. Your pond doesn't stay clear because of a chemical. It stays clear because of bacteria. Two types that live in your filter, on your rocks, on the walls, on every wet surface in there. Their job is to convert the waste your fish produce into something that won't kill them. Your fish produce ammonia constantly, every time they breathe, every time they digest. Ammonia is toxic. Left alone, it will stress and kill your fish even when the water looks fine. Two types of bacteria convert it, step by step, into something far less harmful, diluted or removed during water changes. That chain runs constantly in a healthy pond. Break it and your fish are in trouble. Those bacteria don't float around in the water. They live on surfaces, the sponge in your filter, the ceramic rings, the rocks, the walls. They're a thin, living coating doing the most important work in your pond. Your filter's main job is giving those bacteria a home with water flowing through it. That's biological filtration. The bacteria are the engine, and that engine takes 4 to 6 weeks to build from scratch. Anyone selling you instant biological activity, be skeptical. You can't rush biology. So here's what the standard spring advice actually does. Drain it down, scrub the media, hose everything out, refill, pour in bacteria bottles. Clean slate. Draining removes most of the established colony. Scrubbing the filter media removes what's left. Then you refill with tap water, which contains chlorine or chloramine, added specifically to kill bacteria. They do that job in your pond too. So the bacteria that survived the scrub get hit with a chemical that finishes them off. You pour in a bottle of new bacteria that have nothing to attach to yet. The colony rebuilds from near zero. During those weeks, ammonia climbs, enough to stress the fish, suppress their immune systems, leave them open to whatever disease is already in the water. Customers came back in May with fish that seemed lethargic, fins a little clamped. I'd sell them a treatment. The real problem was a biofilter that hadn't recovered yet. I sold every step of that cycle, the spring clean kit, the bacteria bottles, the follow-up treatments. I'm not telling this to judge anyone. I handed that advice across the counter myself. I remember a woman who'd kept koi for 15 years. One spring she came in and said she'd been too busy to do her usual clean. Never pulled the filter apart, didn't scrub anything, just topped up the water and switched everything back on. Her pond had cleared faster than any year she could remember. She was worried something was wrong. I knew exactly what had happened. She hadn't destroyed her colony. It survived the winter, came back online as the water warmed, and was running at full capacity before most ponds in the area were even half cycled. I told her that was good news, and then I sold her a smaller bottle anyway, because that's what I did. I think about that one sometimes. So here's what you do instead. Never rinse your filter media under tap water, not even quickly. Rinse it only in old pond water, the bucket you pull during a water change. Squeeze the sponge 2 or 3 times, not scrubbing, not wringing dry, just squeezing. Put it back. That is the entire maintenance procedure. The brown coating you've been trying to clean off? That's the bacteria. That's the work. A filter sponge that comes out white isn't doing much yet. The thing my store had the least financial reason to recommend is a floating plant. Water hyacinth or water lettuce, $3 to $5 each at most garden centers. They float on the surface, roots hanging into the water, no soil needed. Algae, what turns your water green, feeds on nitrogen and phosphate from fish waste. Floating plants pull that nitrogen directly from the water as they grow. They're competing with algae for the same food source. And because they sit on the surface, they shade the water from the sunlight algae need to bloom. 2 directions at once for the cost of 1 garden center trip. Here's what algicide does by comparison. It kills the algae in the water. Dead algae sinks, breaks down, releases those nutrients right back. 2 to 3 weeks later, the bloom is back. You go buy another bottle. I watched that happen to the same customers for years. Algicide has a use in specific situations, but as a long-term strategy for green water, you're treating the symptom and feeding the problem at the same time. The coverage number that works is 1/3 to half your pond surface during the growing season. For a 1,000-gallon pond, that's roughly 10 to 15 plants. My own 1,800-gallon koi pond runs water hyacinth from late May through September. I haven't bought an algicide treatment in years. That's what I can say about mine, with a heavy koi load and full sun most of the day. Why doesn't the pond store push these harder? Near zero margin, no repeat purchase. A customer who covers 1/3 of their surface with water hyacinth stops coming in for green water treatments. Floating plants die in hard frost. You're replacing a $4 plant each spring, not a $60 bottle. And I want to be direct. Water hyacinth can become invasive in natural waterways in warmer climates. Do not let them escape into streams, rivers, or natural ponds. Don't dump them. Don't let them wash out near open water. That matters to me more than the algae tip. Everything I've walked you through, the filter maintenance, the plant coverage numbers, it's all on one page. The crystal clear pond checklist, free, linked in the description. Cost you nothing. Might save you $150 this season. And if a retired pond man telling you the truth is worth something, subscribe while you're down there. I put one of these out most days. Now, there's something being shared in online videos and pond forums, and it's the main reason I made this video. People are dosing copper in koi ponds to clear algae, sometimes framed as natural, sometimes called pond safe at the right dose. Copper is toxic to fish. The dose that kills algae and the dose that harms koi are not far apart, and the gap shifts depending on your water hardness, your pH, your temperature, and how much organic matter is in the water. What's safe in one pond kills fish in another. I'm not going to give you a copper dose. I never stocked copper-based algicide in my store. If a video is telling you to dose copper in a koi pond as a routine fix, close it. I'm not saying that as a required disclaimer. Copper treatments are genuinely hurting koi right now, shared by people who mean well. I've spent 36 years in this trade, and I'm not making a video about pond clarity without saying that out loud. The actual forbidden knowledge in this video is free, biological, and has never once hurt a fish. The things that actually need a warning are the shortcuts being passed around as solutions. Here's the thread running through all of it. The pond store doesn't profit from a biologically stable pond. A pond with a healthy filter colony and 1/3 of its surface covered in floating plants doesn't need bacteria starter bottles every March. Doesn't need algicide every 6 weeks. Most of what fills that shelf exists to treat a problem that the spring cleaning advice creates in the first place. Destroy the biology, sell the fix for the consequences, repeat. That's not a conspiracy, it's just a business model. Now you can see it for what it is. You didn't do anything wrong. You followed advice that came on the label, from the counter, from people who seemed like they knew. That advice had a revenue target behind it. You know the difference now. Pick one step this week and start there. A clear pond isn't a chemistry problem, it's a biology problem. Biology is slow and cheap, and doesn't fit in a bottle at a margin that makes sense for a retail shelf. That was always the whole story. The Crystal Clear Pond checklist has everything from this video written down: the filter care method, the plant numbers, the steps for this week. One page, free in the description, written plainly with no products to push and no reason to waste a word. I'm Walt. I spent 36 years on the other side of that counter, and I sold more than a few things people didn't need. I'm glad to finally be on your side of it. I'll see you at the next one. If you want to keep going, the next video is about the one thing that feeds every problem we talked about today. Something most pond owners are doing every single morning without realizing it. Same idea, free fix, no products required.